Call of Duty streamers are too cowardly to admit that they are homophobic. You heard it here right. All of you Call of Duty streamers are a bunch of greasy, neckbeard, racist, homophobic bigots. Yep. According to thegamer.com, my favorite website to see these opinion pieces, by the way. They are just a plethora of content. Anytime I'm like, what am I going to make a video about today? The well is dry. I have nothing ready. I just go to this website and I find articles like this. Now, this is stemming from this week's viral situation with NICKMERCS, where his skin was removed from Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 because of a tweet that he put out in response to a school board meeting that went wrong in Oregon. I believe it was Oregon, Portland, right? Everything that goes wrong with the United States of America is in Portland. Don't come at me. You know it's facts. But yeah, he put leave the kids alone. So now this person, this writer by the name of Stacy Henley, which by the way, Stacy, I want to thank you for all the amount of content that you give me. Honestly, every time I look up an article from The Gamer, it's always Stacy Henley. Now, this article right here off the top caught my eye. Call of Duty streamers are too cowardly to admit they're homophobic. Yeah, this should be a good read, right? So let's take a look at it. We'll give our opinions. So this is NICKMERCS lost his Call of Duty skin after he used tired anti-LGBT rhetoric, and now TimTheTatman's trying to play both sides. Now, TimTheTatman stood in solidarity with NICKMERCS and asked that his skin get removed from Call of Duty in response to Nick's getting removed, and it did. They complied, they took his skin off, and now both of these individuals are no longer in it. Now, this article is just like, I swear, Stacy is amazing when it comes to writing these articles that are just full of venom and vitriol. Now, this says NICKMERCS wants to protect children, and on that basis, you'd think no one would argue with him. If we saw a child running into the road or lost and scared in the supermarket, we'd want to help them. We have a compulsion as a species to protect children from harm, which is why NICKMERCS and people like him latch onto this phrase. But the context of NICKMERCS' remarks is key, and he commented under a video of Proud Boys attacking LGBT activists, calling Call of Duty to remove his skin pack from sale. All right, so it's always, the Proud Boys, but we never talk about Antifa. We never talk about all these freaking radical left, like super lefty groups that throw bricks and riot and cause fires and spit venom at people and claim that they're peacefully protesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Continuing on, you can see this article says, this is an old attack line that has been used for several decades now, suggesting that queer people are pedophiles seeking to corrupt, target, and harm children. When NICKMERCS first spewed this vitriol into the aether, my colleague Ben Sledge wrote a full breakdown of how wrong this lie is, but the context is clear. Homophobes shroud themselves in the veneer of protecting children and often preach the importance of religion, which is highly ironic. Is it though? Is it highly ironic? I can hear the excuse, well, look at the Catholic Church. Look at the Catholic. There's bad seeds in every bunch, all right? But let's not deny the fact that it is fucking creepy for people to be indoctrinating kids into transitioning, using puberty blockers, using all sorts of different stuff in order to manipulate and change not just their mindset, but their body. All right, that's the problem. No business in an elementary school being taught what transitioning is or any of that nature. These kids are way too young and impressionable for that, where I stand. And that's where this battle is. But nobody cares that somebody's gay or lesbian or transgender or whatever. We care when you're trying to shove it down throats and you're trying to push it into kids. That's where the fucking problem is. Oh, but Eric, you're twerking on camera at a convention. It's not the same thing. Grooming children is not right. Now, going on, this says NICKMERCS wasn't saying we should protect the children from any specific harm, but was a general endorsement that the Proud Boys, who have been legally declared a terrorist organization in several countries, were doing the right thing. And yeah, okay, let's make it about terrorism now, right? Because the funny thing is that they're still ignoring the fact that protecting the children was the message here. It's really funny. I even had it in my comment section. Oh, you guys think this and that. I still stand by it. Protect the kids. Leave the kids out of this bullshit. Leave them out of it. And that really triggers them. There's like two things that could really trigger a lefty. It's telling them leave kids alone and God bless you. And that really sets them off. Both of them really set them off. Now, continuing on with this. This is just amazing. Listen to the amount of hatred that this tolerant person writes. Homophobes often try to turn this around and argue that by not wanting to protect children, LGBT people are proving themselves to be predators. But that's a false, childish logic. That's the funny thing that they always say, research and logic. If someone says men shouldn't have sex with elephants, then we'd all agree that they're correct. If someone said that under a picture of your wedding photo, you'd probably be pissed off about it. When you see a terrorist organization attacking activists who want children to know that it's okay if they feel differently from their classmates and side with the terrorist, you cede the moral high ground. Okay. Again, I feel that it's learned behavior when a child feels like they have a sexual attraction to somebody at 3, at 4, at 5, at 6. It's learned behavior, whether you want to agree with me or not. You can say, oh, I'm so disappointed, I'm unsubscribing. Please do. What NICKMERCS specifically said was LGBT people should leave little children alone, and has since pointed out that he feels this way as a new father. So either he thinks all LGBT people are pedophiles, or he doesn't want his children to learn about gay people at all. The latter being an ever so slightly more charitable interpretation of his words, and still highly homophobic. No, it is not any fucking other person's place besides the parents of a child to teach them about anything that has any kind of sexual connotation to it, including LGBTQ information and research and logic. All right. How dare a school try to parent a child over what a parent should teach them? Parents' responsibility is to guide them, to give them moral help, to give them support. But we have weird counselors that want to have these kids one-on-one in their rooms, in their offices, indoctrinating them to agendas. That's what the fucking problem is. Continue on, because this one is still going to be trying to say that these guys are homophobic and yada, yada, yada. While NICKMERCS has shrouded his intention, the basic message is clear. NICKMERCS doesn't like gay people. TimTheTatman has been more cowardly still, saying on his stream that he has spoken to NICKMERCS and assuring fans he's okay, as he should be, having suffered no real consequences. So that's the thing. You always have to suffer a consequence, right, for an opinion. I don't hate gay people either. I hate gay people that try to mess with kids, that try to shove agendas. I have lots of friends that are gay, bisexual, trans. I've been kind of gay a couple times in my lifetime. I've touched tips with people just for the lulz. Okay? No children were affected in anything. But when you come at kids, when you try to involve them, when you try to push this stuff into schools, that's where I have a fucking problem. That's where it seems like a lot of people have a problem. And you know what? 15%, 10% of the population that is crying that we're homophobic? Guys, you're not oppressed. You don't have a bad living because you're being judged. You are being judged because it's self-inflicted in your fucking agendas, the way that you push and attack and come at people intolerant. That's the fucking problem. It's all fucking self-inflicted when you come at people with vitriol like this fucking article. Like, you're a victim, yet you're the one being the aggressor. Like, why are you so angry is what I don't get. Now, this goes on to say, here's the thing, though. Just say you hate gay people. Use your faith or how you were raised as your bullshit reasoning if you want to. So you can't even say, I'm Christian and I was taught that being gay was wrong with my religion. No, they're throwing it. And what's funny is a lot of these people like to insult your religion. They'll say, oh, I'm not a Christian. I'm atheist. I'm this, I'm that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The thing that I hate is your God is, like, they tell you how your God is, even though they don't believe in your God. That's the fucking problem. And I saw that this last week, with the Melanie Mack situation as well, where you'll have people that will attack you for your beliefs, your morals and stuff, and then they will dictate how your morals and beliefs are actually operating. Like, oh, you're a Christian, but your God, your religion and this and that is bullshit for hating gays. But then they'll quickly tell you, oh, well, your God is supposed to be tolerant. He loves everybody. So what is it? Do you follow my God or not? Because you have no right to tell people how their religion and how their faith works at all. All right? It's funny how the tolerant, intolerant people like to dictate and control and demand how everything runs with people's lives. And then they call it bullshit reasoning because they're saying that you were raised wrong. This Stacy continues to say, all I'm asking is that if you're honest about it, NICKMERCS, to his meager credit, has made it clear what side of the divide he stands on. Is it meager? Mager? I have no idea. I've never seen that word. Since his community is mostly edgy teens and conservative men, he's getting praise for it in the short term. Long term, he'll end up like damaged goods like Aiden Ross, but TimTheTatman wants it both ways. And staying with NICKMERCS, he's obviously appealing to the conservative crowd, showing support for a man who lends his voice to the Proud Boys and calling queer people pedophiles. But he also wants the comfortable deniability of having not personally said anything about gay people, so that when the tide turns, and it will, the tides of history always land on the shores of progress. He's in the clear. He should not be allowed that luxury. If TimTheTatman is homophobic, he should come out and say it so we all know where we stand. If he's not, then he should stop playing up to that crowd. Or he could just be his own man and have his own opinion and say, hey, I agree with my friend. He has a right as a parent to speak out against anything. And, it's funny that only one side is allowed to protest and call people names. They're allowed to insult Christians. They're allowed to call out white, straight men. They're allowed to put labels on people because it's what they do. It's fucking tiring. It's a joke. And I'm glad more people are stepping up against it because you see their identity when they get angry. People like to say, oh, people are going mask off anytime that we speak out against wokeness, right? Well, look at the mask off on that side. Oh, they need to do this. They weren't raised right, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody they were raised right or wrong? Who's really the hateful people here? The ones spitting and writing the fucking hateful articles, or the people that are saying, let me parent my kids, leave the kids out of it? Fucking unbelievable. Oh, Eric, you're triggered, you're angry, cry more. Nobody's crying. That's a funny thing in the comments as well. Cry more. Nobody's crying. It's an opinion, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.